Have you ever felt like you're drowning in a sea of data analysis acronyms? CRISP DM, KDD, SEMMA. Yeah, you are definitely not alone. It can feel pretty complex, but here's the thing. Every single data project needs a roadmap. So in the next few minutes, we're going to give you that map. We'll show you the best blueprints for turning all that raw data into actual real-world decisions.
So let's picture you're sitting on a mountain of data. Maybe it's customer behavior, sales figures, sensor readings, whatever. The fundamental question is always the same. How do you turn that raw stuff into something valuable? How do you find the gold, the insights, the decisions, the impact? That's the core challenge, right?
I mean, you can't just start swinging a pickaxe wildly at that mountain of data and hope for the best. That's just not going to work. To build something that lasts, something meaningful, you need a plan. You need a structured approach. You need a blueprint. And that is exactly what these methodologies are. They're proven blueprints for the job.
Okay, so this gives us a fantastic bird's eye view of the entire toolkit. And you can see right away there's a lot of variety here. You've got CRS-PDM, which is great for general business problems. Then there's KDD for discovering new patterns. You've even got DMAIC for improving processes. Each one of these is like a specialized tool for a very specific job. So here's our game plan. We're going to start with the industry standard, CRISP DM. Then we'll get into the difference between exploring data versus just modeling it. After that, we'll check out some of the more modern, team-focused approaches. And finally, the most important part, we'll help you figure out how to choose your path and show you how they all connect in the end.
All right, let's kick things off with the big one, CRISP DM. Seriously, if you only learn one of these methodologies, this is probably it. It's the most common, the most comprehensive, and it's the one you're going to see on pretty much any professional certification. Think of it as the adjustable all-purpose wrench in your data toolkit.
And the real power of this process is its logic. Just look at where it starts. It's not with the data, it's with business understanding. That first step is so simple, but it's absolutely crucial. It prevents countless projects from going off the rails because it forces you to define the problem you're solving before you even touch a spreadsheet. From there, it flows logically through the data steps and all the way to that final critical step, deployment. That's where your solution actually gets put to work.
Yeah, that deployment step, it is a total game changer. It's what makes CRISP-DM so special among the classic frameworks. It forces you to think about the end result from day one. But it's also flexible. You can always loop back to earlier stages if you need to, all while keeping that laser focus on solving the original business problem. But, not every project is about deploying a final, finished model. Sometimes the goal is just pure discovery. You're just trying to figure out what's in the data. And this is where different frameworks like KDD and SEMMA come into play. Think of these as your exploration kit, designed for finding those hidden gems.
The difference in philosophy here is really key. KDD, which stands for Knowledge Discovery in Databases, is all about that aha moment. It's about finding brand new, useful patterns that you had no idea even existed. SEMM, on the other hand, is much more pragmatic. It's a very practical, step-by-step guide for the process of building a model, and it's often linked to a specific tool like SAS.
You can kind of think of the KDD process like a funnel. It starts really wide when you select your data, and then it narrows down as you clean it all up through pre-processing. That transformation step is where a lot of the magic happens, where you might create new features. And only then do you get to the actual data mining to find the patterns, which you finally interpret to see if they're valuable.
Now take a look at SEMMA. The very first step is sample. What does that tell you? It tells you this framework was built for huge data sets, where working with a smaller representative sample is just way more efficient. From there, it follows a path that's super intuitive for anyone building a model. You explore the data, you modify it, you build the model, and then you assess how well it did. The world of data science moves incredibly fast, and let's be honest, it's usually a team sport. So of course, new methodologies have popped up to match that reality. These are like the power tools in the toolkit, designed for speed, for collaboration, and for the realities of modern projects.
First up, we've got OSMN. I love this one because it's so wonderfully simple and easy to remember. Obtain, scrub, explore, model, and interpret. This isn't some rigid academic thing. It's a lean, mean workflow that basically just describes what data scientists actually do day in and day out. It's perfect for quick, practical, real-world projects.
And then there's Microsoft's Team Data Science Process, or TDSP. This is a blueprint built from the ground up for modern teams and operations. The really cool innovation here is that final step, customer acceptance. TDSP gets that it's not enough to just build and deploy a model. You have to make sure the end user, the customer, actually accepts it and finds it valuable. Okay, we've had a good tour of the toolkit. Now we get to the most important question of all. How do you actually pick the right one? Let's break down how to choose the best blueprint for your specific job. This is really the question that brings everything together. The answer isn't about which methodology is the best overall, because there is no best. It's about which one is the best fit for the specific problem you are trying to solve right now.
This table right here makes that decision process super clear. Let's say you have a specific business target, like increasing sales by 10%. Well, then CRISP-DM or TDSP are probably your best bet. But if you're just exploring a brand new data set to see what's in there, KDD is your guide. For a fast, down and dirty pilot project, OSEMN is perfect. Your goal dictates the blueprint. Simple as that.
But, and this is a big but, no matter which blueprint you choose, some questions are universal. These are the absolute non-negotiables. Did you actually define what success looks like? Is your data even reliable? Do you know how you're going to measure performance? And maybe most importantly, have you thought about the real-world impact and how you're going to keep this model working over time? This checklist is your safety net.
All right, now let's zoom all the way out. We've been deep in the weeds with all these acronyms and steps. But if you look past all of that, you start to see a common thread, a pattern that runs through every single one of these methodologies. Beneath all the jargon, there's a simple, universal journey.
And here it is. When you boil it all down, it comes down to these 4 fundamental stages. First, you define the problem. Then, you get your data ready. Third, you do the analysis and build your model. And finally, you take action to deliver some kind of value. That's it. Whether you're using CRISP-DM or OSEMN, they're all just different flavors of this same core journey.
So if there's one thing to take away from all of this, it's this. Don't get lost in the acronyms. The goal is always about clarity and making progress. The best methodology isn't the most complicated one. It's simply the one that gives you the clearest path from a question to a decision. So pick your blueprint and start building.